As Pete leaves us, Alina will stay with us. We also now want to welcome to MidPoint Director of the Institute for Cuban and Cuban American Studies, specializing in Latin American affairs with an emphasis on Cuba. Dr. Jaime Suchlicki joins us today. Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Okay, my pleasure.
Doctor, what is your immediate reaction to this? We have heard from both of our guests here now, and there is still a concern about whether or not the Cuban government is using America for this, but basically America is taking care of an embargo that hasn't worked in over 50 years. Where's your thoughts on this?
Well, there are several thoughts. Number one, no country gives away its foreign policy without a quid pro quo. In order for U.S. to change its policy, there's got to be something that Cuba provides the United States. And the United States wants in Cuba a change of regime, wants freedom for the Cuban people, respect for human rights. Point number two, Cuba remains an ally of Iran, Venezuela, Hamas, the worst enemy of the United States. Cuba hasn't changed its policy, hasn't moved an inch. So we've gotten very little out of these gestures on part of the President of the United States, short of the Alan Gross and another spy that was released. So I am concerned that we're moving in one direction and the Cuban government continues to move in the same direction they've been there for 50 years.
Is there any reason to believe whatsoever that the Cuban government, Raul Castro and his henchmen, if you will in any way change, soften, and create a better human rights civil situation for the people in Cuba?
No. These are people that have been grown with the Soviet Union. They've been trained by the Soviet Union. Raul is a general that was trained by the Soviet military, believes in Marxism-Leninism, is an enemy of the United States, is not a Deng Xiaoping in China that changed the regime, is not a reformist Vietnamese leader that is willing to work with the United States. This is a very hard-line gerontocracy of military leaders that are governing Cuba.
In your opinion, is this a bad deal?
It's a deal that has no quid pro quo. So this administration has tried to extend the hand of friendship to regimes throughout the world, Iranian, you name it, and they've been slapped in their face. So now the administration thinks that by doing a few things, all of a sudden Raul Castro is going to change. And I don't think so. I think for my money, it would be better to wait till there's a transition government in Cuba. Raul is 84, his brother is 88. There's a transition in Cuba, and then offer all of these concessions to the Cuban government to bring about real change.
Alina, I think the question here is very well raised by the doctor and others. Why now?
I think it's a no-brainer now. I think Raul needs this. I think that we've been waiting, as a Cuban, we've been waiting for a transitional government for more than 50 years. So I don't think that a transitional government is coming. I think that Obama is looking for good news in foreign policy, and I think Raul needs the infusion, frankly. I think that the Cuban government has lost its grip on controlling information for people. You now have Cuban bloggers. You have more travel than ever before. I mean, in a way, the cat's out of the bag. You can't put it back in.
Well, let me go ahead and do this now. I've only got about a minute left. I need to ask you this, and then another question as well to Dr. Suchlicki. Alina, first of all, 30 seconds. Do you then see this, because there will be critics who will say that this is a move by the Obama administration to curry favor with Hispanic voters?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I believe that it's going to help the Democrats, certainly.
Okay, Dr. Suchlicki, I need to ask you that as well. Do you believe that this is and people will say this, they're going to immediately charge it, this is a calculated move by the administration at this time to shore up their help with Hispanic voters to make the Democrats favorable, continually favorable?
No, maybe, but it's more connected to the forthcoming meeting of Latin American countries in Panama. And the president wants to go there saying, oh, I've extended an olive branch to the Cuban government. I want to work with Cuba, on and on. It's not necessarily for Cuban votes.
All right, we're going to go ahead and have to watch what happens here. It has just been announced. We'll wait and see. Of course, Congress is going to have a hand in this, and Marco Rubio has already weighed in. Dr. Jaime Suchlicki, thank you so much for joining us today with your perspective. And Alina Hernandez from Newsmax, we want to thank you as well.
Thank you.
All right, we will continue to follow the story. Again, the president has opened up a breakthrough in diplomatic relations with the island nation of Cuba. There are so many different facets of this, but as we noted, Marco Rubio said that he is completely against it, and there will be many others. Stay with us. We'll continue to follow this story and so much more as we continue right here on MidPoint.